Do you enjoy eating a great tasting Lebanese Kafta and would love to learn how to make it yourself? Then come along with me and I'll show you how to make it quick and easy. Let's go. Hey guys, Musa here from Quantum Home Improvements and Solutions. Welcome back to the channel. And so today I'm going to show you how to make a very popular and delicious dish called kafta, which is my own recipe. But first, I just want to clear up something. So my father, God rest his soul, migrated from Farhawra, Lebanon back in the early 60s. And so when he was doing up his passport, he had his name from Arabic translated to French. Now the French phonics, the sounds of their letters are different to English. And so they spelt our name wrong. And so I had half of my lifetime going with a name that was incorrect. And so same with kafta. I just wanted to clarify. Now kafta is known by a number of different names. There's kafta, kafte, kofta, but never kufta. So kafta is one of those dishes that you can make a million different ways, but traditionally it's made with 100% lamb or with beef or lamb and beef. But my father told me that they used to make it also out of goat's meat. And now in our fast-paced world, the process of making kafta has changed dramatically. So today I'm going to be using a blender, and it really is quick and easy to make this dish. So the ingredients you need are pretty basic. So you're going to need some continental parsley, a large capsicum, you'll need some large onions, you'll need some white and black pepper, some mint, Lebanese 7 spices, and some salt. Okay, so now I'll get into it and show you how to make it, but first I'm going to rinse the parsley. Okay, I'll just put them on this cloth to dry. There we go. Okay, so now I'll just get this bowl ready. So today I'm going to be using 1 kilo of lamb. So this is a premium mince with just a little bit of fat in it. So you do need some fat when you are making your kafta. And also I'll be using 1 kilo of premium beef mince. Okay, so I'll just place this into the bowl. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to gather the parsley, and it's really important not to put too much stems into this mix. So I'm just going to break up the stems, put the leaves closer together. So if you haven't seen my video on how to make tabbouleh, it's a very similar process, and I will put a link below just in case you're interested in seeing that video. So as you can see, I'm gathering the stems below, and at that point there, I'm just gathering all the leaves. So the only difference when you're making tabbouleh and doing parsley ready for kafta is that when you make a tabbouleh, you generally don't use the yellow leaves. The leaves are gone off. Now, when you're making kafta, it's going to be cooked in, so it's not a big deal. So long as the leaves are healthy, even though they're a bit yellow, I still put them in. And so what I do now is just turn it sideways, expose all the stems, and basically just cut the stems off. So all we got basically is the leaves with just a little bit of thin stems. I'll throw that in the chicken bowl. Okay, so now I'll just put this in the blender. Okay, put it in. I'll just take this tray out of here. We'll be using that later. Just move everything out of the way. So I'll just pulsate the blend. And I will shake it a little bit. There we go. So you want it fine, but you don't want to overdo it. There we go. Now you don't need to clean it out too much because we're still going to be blending the onions and also the capsicum. Okay, so now we're going to need 2 large onions, and generally speaking, you use 1 large onion per kilo. So someone asked me the other day, how do you stop onions from making you cry? So you can't stop it completely, but you've got to understand that onions, when you cut them, release an airborne particle and it travels a long distance. So it's very hard to escape it. But there is a technique that you can reduce it. So if you cut it in half and place it under water, you'll reduce how much of those particles will be airborne. And you'll feel instantly a relief. Okay, so now I'll put these in the blender. Okay, so now I'll blend these ones. Okay, so that's blended really well. Now the only thing is that now there's a lot of fluid in there, and we don't want a lot of that fluid in the mix of the kafta because it's going to make it too soft. So what I'm going to do is place it into this bowl and have a sifter in here and let the juices drain out. Now you don't want to drain too much of the juice, you just want to just reduce it a bit. And it depends on the onion or the capsicum how much juice will come out. Sometimes you'll find it'll have hardly any juice in it. Okay, so I'll just let that sit for a bit. And now the capsicum. So I'll just cut that into a quarter. So basically I've just cut out all the seeds and stem. Now I'll place that into the blender as well. Okay, you can see there, it's definitely very moist. So now I'll just put that in the strainer as well. Okay, there's a lot of juice in that. You tend to get more juice out of the capsicum than you do the onion. Okay, so now the capsicum and the onions have been draining for about 10 minutes, and you can see in there's a fair amount of juice. All right, so we're almost ready to go. So all we're gonna do is put the herbs and spices now. Okay, so first, I'm gonna put a tablespoon of mint. So it's a fair amount. I'm gonna put a little bit of white pepper, not much. But I'm gonna put more of black pepper. So now I'll just put in a tablespoon of Lebanese 7 spices. And I'll also put in 2 teaspoons of salt. Now I don't have sea salt, so I'm just going to use plain table salt. So with the mint, you can either use fresh or dry, but it's out of season at the moment, so I'm using dry mint. But also, there is another ingredient some people use, which is pomegranate molasses. Now, I have tried this a couple of times, but my kids did not like it. Okay, so now I'll mix it in. And I was also going to say that some people don't like using capsicum either, so it's your choice. This is a nice mix. I can feel it's not too soggy. Now you need to really squeeze this in. So you need to basically get all the ingredients mixed up really, really well. So you've got to do this for a fair while. Okay, so basically you want to just make sure that you get every bit of that minced meat and blend it in to distribute that taste evenly. And this smells great. So as I said earlier, you can make this with all lamb, all beef, or 50-50. So this is a good compromise for me. I'm not a big fan of lamb, I've got to be honest, but it does taste good when you mix it 50-50, I think. Okay, so I've been mixing this in now for a couple of minutes, and you'll find when you first start, it feels very moist, but as you do more and more, it becomes drier. And so you know when it's ready, when you wipe all the meat off your fingers, and there's a yellowy residue of fat. So as I said earlier, you do need the fat in the meat because it does help in the process of cooking, and it does enhance the taste. So we shape the kafta 2 different ways. So the first way, the most common way we do it, is basically just make it into a sausage. So we just get a little piece and we just keep rotating in our hands and squeeze just the right amount, and we make a kafta and we place it on the tray. But in this case here, I'm going to be using skewers. So I've got the skewers set out. So just grab a skewer, grab a good sized piece. So generally you don't put too much on the skewer. So you don't make it too thick. It is actually meant to be thin. But saying that, when you cook it, it reduces down about 1/3 its size. So you've got to put enough on there. So when we're doing this, we do it as a family, and we have our girls helping, and we do this in a few minutes, the whole lot. They're really quick at it. Okay, we're on the home stretch. I'll just put another sheet of Glad wrap and do the final row. Okay, we're down to the last one. Okay, there we go. So we got there 2 rows of 12 and 1 row of 9, makes 33. So we usually cook our kafta outside on the barbecue, but for demonstration purposes, I decided to cook inside with this electric fry pan so you can see everything I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just gonna place 3 kafta into the fry pan. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I've got the heat only on medium. You don't want to cook it too fast because kafta can actually burn very quickly, but also it's very fragile. So when you're cooking it, first you've got to allow the bottom to cook and then you turn them over. Okay, so I don't use this fry pan very often. I need a little bit more heat, so I'm just getting used to this system. Might put it on maximum because it might not be a fast cooker. There we go, I can hear it already. Beautiful. Nice little sizzling sound. Okay, so the bottom looks like it's cooked, so I'm just going to push them over a little bit. There we go. Okay, you can see already how fast they've shrunken. So I don't know if you can see it on camera, it does create a bit of smoke, hence why it is good to do this outdoors. But let me tell you, the aroma that comes with that smoke is incredible. It's beautiful. There we go. This is cooking beautifully. So it will take roughly about 5 minutes to cook, depending on your heat. So this is on maximum on this electric fry pan, but usually on a barbecue, the barbecue gets really hot, so you need to put on probably about medium, low to medium. Okay, they're done. I'll just turn that off. There we go. These look beautiful. Okay, so the proof of the pudding is in the taste. So I'll give this a try. Okay. It smells beautiful. Wow, that is beautiful. So we don't use lamb that often, but it does change the dimension of the taste. So we like to use beef, as I said before, but the lamb just takes it to a new level. So kafta also tastes really good with hummus, tahina. So I've prepared a little bit. And so the hummus that I do use is imported from Lebanon, made by Cortez. And I buy it locally in our supermarket at Mitchenberry, and I'll put a link below if you're looking for it. So kafta is best served when hot, and I forgot to mention earlier that we've got a big celebration coming up. We've got 2 of our boys having their birthdays, plus my wife and I will be celebrating our 34th year in marriage. So this batch was made for that occasion. So I have put this batch in the freezer, which is fine, but it is best to cook kafta fresh. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any comments at all, please leave them below and I will get back to you. And I'd ask you to please consider to subscribe, hit the like button and share this video, and there's many more to come. Thanks guys.